What's up, guys and ladies? It is Pastor T, and of course, my lovely wife, Lady J, here, and we are excited to welcome you to our Tuesday night city experience. As you can probably tell, things are going to be a little bit different tonight. I'm a little bit different, and in some cases, when I kind of get into repetition or redundancy, I can kind of lose my pizzazz and or my creativity. And I had a feeling it was just time to kind of do something a little different, share the same message, but just present it in a little of a different way. So I hope you are prepared. I hope you are ready, and we're going to receive together. Do me a quick favor. Take an opportunity now, and I want you to share this experience for someone in your relational orbit who may be home and they are in dire need of a connection. This is an opportunity. This is a moment, and they are only one share away from potentially having their life changed. Take an opportunity and do that now. You're welcome to greet them.
Hey everybody, welcome, welcome. We're so honored that you're here connecting with us. Listen, connection is so important. So as Pastor T said, yes, hit that share button. Matter of fact, tag a cousin, tag a friend, tag one of your loved ones. This is going to be amazing.
Tag an ex that just might get saved today.
Tag your baby daddy.
Listen, guys and ladies, man, when we talk about the city church, wow. It has, I remember when this crisis initially hit and this idea of not meeting first came up, my initial thought was maybe 2 weeks. 4 weeks.
2 weeks at the max for me.
4 at the most for me. And we are now going on 12 weeks. 12 weeks. Of being disconnected and not having had an opportunity to see you. I can't speak for anybody else, and I don't attempt to make myself better than anyone else. I may not be the best preacher, I may not be the most amazing teacher, but one thing I know for sure, I'm a real pastor. And I carry you in my heart and on my mind. And the fact that I haven't seen you in 12 weeks has done something to me. I don't know what to say. I miss you. I hope you miss me. And I look forward to the opportunity. We say this all the time. I so look forward to seeing you again. But that time is not yet. In the meantime, I'm so appreciative that you have been so committed and so faithful in spending this time with us on our Tuesday nights as well on our Sundays. And without you, our experience would not have been able to be what it has been. So I appreciate you and thank you so much for that. With that being said, let's talk about the impact of our cyber sanctuary.
So I know they want to know. Everybody wants to know. What are you thinking relative to CCOG reconvening?
Oh yeah. To be absolutely honest, even when I talk to you and in times past, I have talked with you and I've told you it's not yet, it's not yet. In my mind, I've had a date in mind. But I have withheld of sharing that date because I needed to give myself and leave myself wiggle room and leave our leadership team wiggle room. This is not a decision that I make by myself. I make it, of course, with wisdom, from those that I love near and far, from those within the medical community who I believe may have a little bit more insight from a science perspective than I do have. Some who are on our leadership team who sit maybe a little bit closer to me. And sometimes I think God, in his sovereignty, he just has a way. And it doesn't matter what I planned. It doesn't matter what I thought. There's a sense of peace that I know when he gives it to me, I know it's going to be time. I know my initial date was the first weekend in June. That was my initial date. And I think the Lord had a way of letting us know that might have been too soon.
And not only that, things are always changing.
Yeah.
We're getting new reports, new statistics. Like you said, we're getting wisdom from different people. So every day it's something new.
And to be honest, not to be King James Version, but you almost have to make a decision. Whose report will you believe?
That's it.
Every report is different.
That's right.
Everything seems as though the information we get always seems to contradict.
That's true.
And the Lord knows me. He knows how I deal.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying this was a God moment, but he certainly sent a clear message to me in that you don't even know this. It is a matter that has been private. It is not directly connected to the house, but it could have impacted the house. That maybe just over a week ago, I received contact from someone very dear to us. Someone that we feel is trusted, who's close to us, and we allow them into our personal space. And we received contact that COVID had hit their home. And as a result, there was going to have to be quarantine for that home. And potentially, had we rushed back right away, that could have been catastrophic for the house.
Absolutely.
Of course, not intentionally, but that's oftentimes and in cases where wisdom has to be implemented. So that situation has positioned me to think a little bit more clearly and deeply. COVID is impacting every area. It's impacting our country. It's impacting our world. And it's doing it in different ways.
In different ways, absolutely.
There are those of us who feel as though, man, it is way too soon. It is still unsafe. And in my humble opinion, I think that approach comes from those who have not had to work.
That's it.
Those who are not essential. Those who have been caved away. But what about looking at it from the perspective from the essential worker?
That's right.
Who has been out the entire time. They have washed their hands. They've done their best to keep their distance. They have worn their masks and they have stayed safe. Meaning, crisis is still there, but I'm doing everything I can personally to stay safe. I don't say that one is right or wrong. But in my position, I have to look at it from all perspectives. One thing I do know, that this weekend, this moment, is just a little bit too soon. So we're going to continue to meet again right here in our cyber sanctuary. And we want to invite you to be a part of our weekend experience. Speaking of our cyber sanctuary, I never would have imagined
in a million years
that our influence would have expanded the way that it has. Our reach would have gone to the degree that it has.
It's been so impactful.
It has been more than impactful. And with that being said, I want us to take an opportunity and hear a special testimony from one of our very own relative to the impact of our cyber sanctuary on them, their home, and their personal lives. Take an opportunity to tune in.
The City Church Cyber Experience has been everything that I didn't know I needed. The pandemic forced me to sit still, and that's exactly what God wanted me to do. Throughout this time, Pastor Terry and Lady Juliet have continuously fed us the Word and encouraged us, and me being still allowed me to digest everything that had been spoken. My worship is much more personal now, and my relationship and dependence on Christ has become deeper. Witnessing the growth, not only as an individual, but as a collective, has been beautiful. The development of our YouTube page, the ability to watch the services throughout the day, the midweek motivation, and city group experiences have been life-changing. And being part of the live encounter was phenomenal. I have never experienced anything like that before. I learned that God moves in the most intimate settings. The pandemic that was supposed to stall us has propelled us forward, and we have tapped into something much greater and more mind-blowing than what we ever could have expected. And I'm here for it. It is awesome to be connected to this ministry. Kudos to PT, Lady J, and the Dream Team for making it happen. Man, what a powerful testimony that was.
That was strong. And you don't want to go anywhere, because there are going to be more of those that you're going to get to hear and experience throughout the rest of our gathering this evening.
And to think about that was through the Cypress Sanctuary. It has been so impactful. And just even thinking about last week's message about personal ministry.
Stuck in the mud, week 5. Did you enjoy that? Wow.
We all have a personal ministry.
For sure.
So I want to just quickly share a passage that Pastor mentioned. It was Matthew 14, 16 through 18. I'm going to be reading from the NIV version, and it says this. Jesus replied, "They do not need to go away. You give them something to eat." "We have only 5 loaves of bread and 2 fish," they answered. And this is what Jesus said. "Bring them here to me," he said. Bring them here to me.
Bring them here to me.
Oh, that was powerful.
I
mean, in essence, he was saying, look, you bring what you have.
For sure.
And I'm going to take care of the rest.
And it made me, even after the fact, I've had an opportunity just to think through it from a personal perspective. And man, I wish I would have seen this prior to doing that message. It would have been way more impactful.
Absolutely.
But the impact that that passage has had on me, and that's been a part of my narrative a bit, that as the City Church prepares to go into 7 years of ministry, we'll celebrate in November and officially cross over that date in January, 7 years. I was talking to our production specialist, Tim Pounds, who has been instrumental in all of this in our cyber sanctuary. And in going on 7 years, this is the first. And this, I'm almost ashamed to say this. This is the first complete message that we have been able to save and or record and archive in its entirety. There was always a number of things, whether not having proper equipment or just something weird happens on a given day. But maybe even more importantly for me, I've just always grappled with, am I good enough, or am I significant enough, or do people outside of the City Church really want to hear what I have to say? And in almost going on 7 years, 6.5 now, it took this crisis.
This crisis, come on.
Where I could not see you.
Yes.
And I had no idea. We'd be going on 12 weeks.
12 weeks.
I couldn't get to you. You couldn't get to me. And I had no choice but to get in front of a camera and go on Facebook Live and initiate our YouTube channel. And to see the impact that all of this would have, not because I'm good enough, and not because I'm great, but because I made a decision to give him what I have. This is what I have.
That's it.
Whether it's good enough or it's not good enough, this is all that I have to give. And I'm trusting that if I give you what I have, you can make a miracle out of the rest.
Well, I think for an aha moment for me was, and I think for all of us watching and tuning in, we think that we have to be ready. That everything, we cross every T and dot every I, that we can come and we have that degree, we have everything put together. But God said, if you just give me what you have. And I think a lot of times we think we have to be put together. We have to be total confident. But God says, if you begin to put your confidence in me, I will take care of that. I will take care of every situation in your life. So for many of us, we think we're not qualified. We discount what God has placed inside of us because of our past or whatever situation or fear. But God is just saying, step out of the boat. Just step out and I'll take care of the rest. And I am so glad, PT made that decision, because I told him that the world needs to hear him. Because there's so much that he can give, so much to this world. And so I'm so glad. I'm glad for the crisis.
I think if anything,
I am so glad for the crisis.
I think if anything, what I have learned is And it's one thing to teach it, it's another thing to experience it.
And to live it out.
One of the things that I have learned sincerely is that God doesn't necessarily look for the able. Mm-hmm. He looks for the available.
Oh my gosh.
And when we make ourselves available through his power, he will make us more than able. More than able. Ladies and gentlemen, so let's not consider me. It's not about us. Mm-hmm. It's not about us as a tag team or even the City Church of Goldsboro, but God had an agenda from the beginning. And someone was going to need to hear the gospel of Jesus Christ from around the world, and it was going to come from the City Church of Goldsboro. Yeah. I want you to take an opportunity now. Take cause to pause and give your attention and listen to this next testimony. PT, I just wanted to say thank you. Thank you that through this quarantine, City Church has allowed me to grow my faith and become closer to God. Your messages have helped me grow, especially your word on this past Tuesday. It prepared me for this occurrence in my life I had no idea was coming. Virtually, you all have made me feel like family. So again, thank you. It means more than you know. Listen, ladies and gentlemen, it is because of you and your faithfulness that we are able to continue to make the impact that we are making. Mm-hmm. And I want to appreciate you. Yes. Not only do I want to appreciate you, I want to appreciate our spiritual leaders for your commitment to a consistent lifestyle of prayer, covering the house, covering my wife and I, covering our community. We are here partly because of your commitment and your faithfulness in your personal and intercessory prayer lives. Everybody, make sure you show some great love to our spiritual leadership teams. Our leadership team, man. In many cases, they are the ones who putting together the pieces on Sunday mornings for our experience or whatever the case might be. But even post getting ready to, for lack of better terms, to segue out of crisis mode, they have also been very instrumental in ensuring that ministry continues to go on.
And those around them are connected.
For sure. And one of the ways is something that we instituted through this crisis called city groups.
Yay for city groups.
Yeah, of course, our lovely lady Jay, she has led one of those groups.
It's been amazing.
We've had anywhere from 12 to 15 other groups.
And different varieties of books, emotional, relational, spiritual. We've tapped into every part.
So as a leader, what has leading one of these groups been like for you?
It has been absolutely incredible. First of all, it's given me an opportunity to stretch. But not only me, the people that are engaged and coming in and tuning into these Zoom meetings, and they're growing, they're learning, and they're having to read. They're having to ask those hard questions. But I also really just enjoy the fellowship. Honestly, just to see their faces, see what they got out of the book, out of the passages in the Bible, all of that. And just that connection has been so impactful for me.
All right, so if we're going to keep it all the way 100,
all the way.
We ain't going to fake the funk or the nasty dunk. Let's keep it real. So even as it relates to leading, it requires prayer. It requires preparation.
Absolutely.
And to be absolutely honest, there comes a little bit of pressure. So what has that experience, what has that side of it been like for you?
It has been a lot of pressure because for me, I don't play about when it comes about God's word and preparing a word for his people. And so just finding that time to pray and God, what is it that you want me to speak or share with the people that are listening or that are tuned into what I'm having to say? The pressure of God, do I have it together? Am I going to have everything? At the time, making the time to plan. The flow, the pace, all of that, because these people are in expectation to hear a word.
And your group was Friday mornings at 7 a.m.
And that's a sacrifice. Anybody to get up on a Friday at 7 o'clock to hear the word. Mine was Dressed to Kill. It's about spiritual warfare. Like they want to hear about spiritual warfare at 7 o'clock. So I have to know my word. I have to make sure I know what I'm speaking of. Make sure that I'm in tune with God in this season. That I'm in tune with God. But it's given, I think, not only for me, but to every leader that had a shared group to stretch.
So you're not only leading your group at 7. That means you got to get up.
I'm up at 5:15
ahead of time.
I'm up at 5:15 praying, seeking God, going over my notes, making sure I understand and I know what I'm saying. It's not just saying it, but settled in my spirit.
Yeah.
Being able to teach it with conviction, with love, with correction, whatever, and just make sure I'm prepared. So when they see me, they look like I've been up 2-3 hours before them. But yeah, as a leader, it's my responsibility to help.
I want you to be able to have an entirely different level of respect for those who led these groups. Yeah. And in order to do that, you need to understand what that looked like from behind the scenes. So this is kind of how this went down. As our governor is orchestrating things relative to our safety and how we would kind of act. Probably when we got to the end of April and we knew that we were literally going to have at least another month, I wanted to make sure that the City Church of Goldsboro was prepared and ahead of the game.
That's it.
So I think maybe it was on a Friday that I sent a message to our leadership team and I said, guys and ladies, hey, I'm curious if there was a book you would recommend and you would like share with the world, what would that book be?
And all the leaders, I like this. I mean, they were share, having no clue what was behind that question.
I said that. So this is what's going to happen. So starting Monday, we're opening city groups and you're going to be leading a group.
Friday,
I told them Friday. And our group started on Monday. So all the excellence that you saw, it literally turned over in 3 days.
Crazy.
And they did a phenomenal job. And many of you have been asking, when can I expect another group? Can I expect another group? Should we expect another group? And we've kind of been waiting to see what this situation would be like. We didn't want things to open back up as it relates to our city and our area. And we'd kind of be in the middle of a group and people begin to move and shake and summertime begins to hit and we see a lot of absences in our group. But I have a sneaky suspicion that if nothing else, the month of June is going to be a little slower than what we're used to. So what does that mean? That means when you get off of our experience tonight, you can find yourself on our app and or at the website. You can go into city groups and you can register for round 2.
Tonight.
Yes. As soon as you get off tonight, you can go on our site, go on your app, register for city groups round 2. What can you expect? We want to make this as easy for our leaders as possible, as well as easy for those of you who are returning and those who want to jump into this second cycle. What does that mean? It means we're going to be doing the very same groups. We had anywhere from 12 to 15 groups, and we are adding at least 1 to 2 more. And for those of you who were fully inculcated into a group, there are at least 10 to 12 others that you had no idea of. So this is what you can do if you like. If you want to repeat the same group for whatever reason, go and do it. It's going to be the same information. Maybe you want to segue into another group that you were eyeballing from afar. This is the time. Maybe you didn't get an opportunity to be a part of our round 1. Then this is for you. Jump in round 2. You have groups mornings and evenings, on Mondays, on Wednesdays, on Thursdays. You have Lady J's group on Friday morning. Tuesdays are our corporate connections, and we always like to leave the weekends for you. I'm just asking, what are you waiting for? As soon as this video is over, I want you to go to the app, go to the website, register for your next group. There are no groups that overlap. You can register for as many as you choose
We had one lady that went to every single group.
For the first week, I did it. They were phenomenal.
They were.
Each and every group. And we want to invite you to get connected. Don't just take my word for it. This next testimony is not only coming from someone who was impacted by the group. This next testimony is coming from an author of one of the books that we use in one of our city groups. She's from right here in Goldsboro, North Carolina. She has found herself connected within our cyber sanctuary.
Yes.
We used her material in one of our city groups, and you get an opportunity to hear from her directly. Take an opportunity now, pause, and enjoy this next testimony.
I listened to yesterday's sermon again. The past few weeks, I can tell that God is working in my life and the life of others. Women asking me to be their mentor. Other therapists are coming to me for therapy. People being liberated from depression and anxiety. It's all quite amazing. Now, I'm super quiet on social media, but God is up to something, and I don't yet know how to feel about it, but I'm trusting God. Yesterday's message was on point. Tell Pastor Jones, keep speaking. We are listening and saying yes to God's purpose for our lives. As a therapist, I listen to him from a trauma-informed perspective. He's liberating a lot of us who are tuning in. Since I started listening to his sermons, I've been more in tune to God's voice, and it made a difference in how I provide therapy and how I market my book and how I share my story with others. It's made a huge difference.
What's up, ladies and gentlemen? I pray that you enjoyed that testimony. Again, don't go anywhere. We are almost done. But I have at least one more special testimony that I most certainly want you to hear. And even in this next segment, maybe even the most important. This is not just another weekend for the City Church. We are in a very spiritual and a bit of a holy time and a season for us. Mm-hmm. This is an opportunity where we come together and we display our heart for the house. This is nothing new for you. We've talked about it. We've planned for it. We have talked about it a bit behind the scenes. COVID crisis was nowhere in the picture when it came to planning this heart for the house. And as we were maybe engulfed in the middle of it, I had an opportunity to talk to my pastor, to talk to some of those on our leadership team. And we made a decision that we wanted to continue and press forward in this Heart for the House giving. What does that mean for us? What does that look like? Clearly, not only in that, this is another special weekend because my wife and I would be celebrating 6 years of ministry. That's a lengthy period of time.
God has been good.
And it seems like it's gone by so fast.
It's gone by so fast.
To consider 6.5 years right now, you're talking 52 weeks out of the year. We are 350 some odd of weeks that we have been meeting. But to see what God has done, it's been incredible. And I say that to say, I don't share that because we're looking for anything. Right. You know us, you know our hearts.
Yes.
This is by no means about us, but we wanted you to know. And just as if you wouldn't undermine your birth date, we don't want this to be undermined for us. But if there was anything you can do, if there was a gift that would be most precious, what would that be? And that is you joining us in our Heart for the House season. With that being said, what are we looking for and what can we expect? First of all, you need to know, we can't tell you enough. This is not a season of pressure. The City Church is not about pressure. If you have been a part of our experience, then you know when it comes to giving and generosity, we don't manipulate, we don't pressure in any way. If you are part of our experience, you know that when you give, we don't even pass receptacles. We don't even have an official time of giving. We invite you to participate in this act of worship at the point of your departure. That there'll be no pressure, there'll be no control, there'll be no sense of anything. That those who give in and to the City Church are those who have genuinely had their hearts changed by the hand of God. And this is what we do as an act of worship and or appreciation for what He has already done in our lives. In this, ladies and gentlemen, why are we doing this Heart for the House? What can you expect? Number one, this affords us an opportunity of preparation. We never saw this COVID crisis coming. And if we be absolutely honest, some of us in our homes personally were unprepared. It was a time that you needed to go to the stores and get this or that. And with the world going crazy, those particular things may not have been available. And the same thing happens in our lives financially. And we want to ensure, God forbid, if anything like this ever were to come up again, if the worst would have happened relative to the ministry, we want to be able to make sure that we are foundationally sound.
Absolutely.
If I would take you back to the beginning of 2020, you guys know I shared with you that the Lord had placed upon my heart that this was going to be the year of financial stability, not only for our personal homes and lives, and I am a witness to that, but also to the ministry at large. We have just completed last weekend our Living in the Black financial literacy course. Bishop Benjamin did a phenomenal job, he and his team. And I'm hoping that maybe I can bring him in very soon for a midweek conversation and just pour and impact the house with the knowledge that the Lord has given him. We have just completed that. Many of our homes have been positively impacted through the information that we have received. We have pulled, at the beginning of the year, we pulled all events off the table.
We did.
And this is
Before
the year, this was going to be the year that we would entirely focus on the ministry. We want to make sure that we were prepared for whatever would come. Number two, not only did we consider preparation, but this is our opportunity to secure the house. When we say secure the house, what does that mean? It means we want to ensure that we're in a position to provide a long-lasting biblical legacy for our children. That as our children age and mature, as long as they're in this area, they never have to worry, where am I going to receive instruction for the Word of God? But through your giving, we're going to be able to provide security for the generations to come. Ladies and gentlemen, not only are we considering preparation, not only are we considering security, last but not least, we want to ensure that we are continually expanding our reach and allowing God to increase our influence. I never would have imagined Facebook Live, YouTube, all in a matter of 12 weeks, positioning us to where we are. This was not a part of our plan, but I do believe it was a part of God's plan. And I believe that there's even more for us to do. 12 weeks ago, we didn't even have a production specialist anywhere near. We didn't have 12 weeks ago some of the cameras and things that we have now. But through the wisdom of trusted others and just things the Lord was pressing on our heart, when this crisis was coming on, you remember, I'm online, I'm looking for the best cameras, things that we can get in our home, that if we were not able to get out, that we could fully produce right here in our home.
I thank God we had provision to do that.
And look at what God
has done. It's just amazing.
So, ladies and gentlemen, if I can leave you with this one passage, what are we asking you to do when it comes for Heart for the House? All we're looking for is 100% participation. Whatever is available, whatever you have, we want you in good heart and in faith to sow that into the house. This is not anything we're springing on you because of a need. This is now a part of our culture and our DNA. And I believe that through that, God is getting ready to do something in your lives.
I believe it.
Everything we have been able to do in this crisis, it was a part of and by way due to your financial commitment.
Absolutely.
And even through all of this, you have continued to be faithful, and God has continued to be faithful to the house. And I'm believing even the more that God is going to rain blessings, again, even the more on your home because of your financial faithfulness.
And I would just even say, and just not to sound super spiritual, but just in this time before you prepare, ask God, what is it? What is it that you want me to do? Because whatever you ask God to do, He will provide the need.
For sure.
He will provide the need. And so even for us, when we come together and we decide what we want to do, we ask God first, God, what is it? Because we want to do what He wants us to do.
Yes.
And I'm telling you, It's powerful.
There may be those who are in a different financial position.
That's right.
Where,
That's right.
Lord, what would you have me to do is a reasonable request.
Yeah.
Then there are those who may not be in a financial position as others. Maybe you're hearing about this just recently, and you have not had the time of preparation like many others of us.
That's right.
What we're asking you to do, we're not asking for your home to go under.
No,
we're not asking for you to do anything that's going to jeopardize the wealth or the health of your home.
Absolutely.
We're simply asking you to do something. Just do something. It is not about quantity of gift. It is about quality of gift. Let me read this passage to you. The Bible speaks in 2 Kings chapter 4. I want to read. This has been a part of our series, believe it or not. Give God what you have. The Bible speaks in 2 Kings chapter 4, beginning at verse 1. The wife of a man from the company of the prophets cried out to Elijah, "Your servant, my husband, is dead, and you know that he revered the Lord. But now his creditor is coming to take my 2 boys, as his slaves." Elijah replied to her, "How can I help you? Tell me, what do you have in your house?" Ladies and gentlemen, we're not asking you to go out and get a loan. I don't even believe that would be wisdom. We're not even asking you to do anything to jeopardize the health of your home. I want you to consider this question. What do you have in your home? What do you have in your home orbit, in your circle? What is available to you? In believing that if you give God what is available to you, he will do something supernatural over it. That, here we go, that will not only bless the house, but in return, it will cause forth blessings to be back upon you.
Yes.
The Bible lets us know that the woman went and got jars at the instruction of the man of God. And she got those jars as all she had was a little bit of oil in her home.
That's all you
and
need.
as she went and got those jars, the Bible says at the instruction of the man of God, she began to pour that oil into those jars, and she poured oil, and she poured oil, and the oil continued, and the oil continued. All she had was oil, but all she had was all she needed, and she poured oil and poured oil, and the Bible says that the oil continued to pour as long as she had jars. Now keep this in mind. Her oil flowed relative to the faith she had in going to get and borrow oil from her neighbors.
My God.
So ladies and gentlemen, I believe that there is a fresh oil that is going to flow over your life, over your home. But it ties to the faith that you have. How many jars are you willing to bring him to fill? He will fill every jar that you'll believe to fill him.
I'm a living witness.
After the oil ran out, the man of God says, take these jars, go and sell them to pay off all your debt and live off the rest.
My God.
This act of faith positioned this woman of God to pay off all of her debts and to live on the rest with what she had.
That's so good.
Not with what she found, nor with what she borrowed.
So good.
But God used what she had to pay off every debt and to give her enough room to live off the rest.
That's so good.
Ladies and gentlemen, preparation, security, increased influence, not for the sake of us, not for the sake of the city church, but for the sake of the gospel of Jesus Christ. It is because of your faithfulness and your giving that the very camera you're watching on right now was able to be purchased. The lighting equipment that is right here in my home. Our home has been turned into a studio for the last 12 weeks. And you ain't got to go home, but it's coming to a time that you're about to get up out of here. And we're going to get ready and get our home back.
Listen, but God has done amazing things for right here.
With that being said, ladies and gentlemen, I never thought that these couches that we purchased for our home would turn into a pew wherein men and women would cry out to God right here in our living room. With that being said, because of your faithfulness, our increase and impact has been increased.
My God.
This next testimony that we're going to prepare to share is one that is extremely close to our heart in seeing the impact that Cyber Sanctuary has made. This next testimony is coming from a young lady who has not one time stepped foot into a place called the City Church of Goldsboro, but she has become connected by way of our Cyber Sanctuary experience. Not only has she enjoyed our weekends, she bogarted our city group.
Yes.
I remember one day getting a call saying, Pastor T, this woman was in our city group. We don't know who she was. We're like, y'all got to find out who she is. Right. She enjoyed our city experience on the weekends. She bogarted our city group.
Yes.
And
her life has been
she is just as much now
she's part
of the city church as any of us. It is because of your faithfulness and your giving, and because of the hand of God, that our reach has been increased, and it continues to be so. I want you to hear this special testimony from this beautiful young lady named Mari out of Texas. Enjoy this. God bless you. Hello, my name is Marion. I found out about City Church of Goldsboro while scrolling through Facebook one day and decided to tune in. One Sunday, and the rest was history. Cyber Sanctuary has been a vital part in keeping me grounded in God during my deployment. Pastor Terry has done a great job with consistently breaking down the word for me in a way that can be applied daily. I've also had the opportunity of connecting with some amazing people while participating in my city group. Everything we read and discuss within my group were keys to my persevering through difficult seasons in life. I may not be able to attend church physically, but I haven't missed a beat with Cyber Sanctuary. Ladies and gentlemen, I hope you have enjoyed this evening's experience. Our time is up. We have taken an opportunity to go down memory lane just a bit as it relates to our Cyber Sanctuary. We've shared with you, city groups are getting ready to jump off again. We want you to get plugged in. And this coming weekend, by way of our Cyber Sanctuary, we're not meeting this weekend. You're going to find us again on Facebook Live as well as YouTube. And when you come, I trust that you're going to bring your heart for the house giving. God is going to do something relative to our ministry this weekend because of your faithfulness. When you do that, do me a favor. I don't even want you to give before you watch the experience. I want you to enjoy the experience. Allow it to minister to you. And whatever the Lord speaks to your heart at that point, that is what we want you to give as you share your generosity. This weekend, we are giving our offering. Whatever the Lord places upon your heart, that is personal to you. This weekend, we are returning our tenth. That is our tithe, returning our tenth. Whatever that means for you. And then, last but not least, on top of that, over and above, we are going to display our heart for the house relative to generosity. Ladies and gentlemen, it doesn't matter. Somebody can and will always take your good and turn it into evil. There is no pressure here. There is no manipulation. You have potentially had a target in mind, and with this crisis, it has kind of tilted your financial foundation. What does that mean for you? Again, whatever you have,
that's it.
Whatever is comfortable for you. We're not twisting arms. We never do that, and we're not going to begin to do it now. We're not tracking you down to say you didn't give enough. Whatever you're believing God for, we're believing that you can give a gift that is going to in turn see a reciprocal blessing. I'm not promising you anything. I'm not promising you a car, a home, or a man because of your faithfulness and your giving. But I do know that God is faithful.
He's faithful.
We are a living example. God is faithful. And that's all I'm going to say relative to that. This weekend, after you have watched one of our experiences, you can go on your app and you can give. You can go on the website and you can give, or or you can text to give. At any of those meetings that you go to, relative to your heart for the house, you should be looking for the key word, I support. Mm-hmm. If you would, we would prefer that you would give your offering, that you would return your tithe, do that as normal.
Right.
And after you have completed that, we would ask that you would give your heart for the house and use the key word, I support. When you give your heart for the house exclusively, use the key word, I support. Because of you, we're able to continue. Because of you, we're able to be a blessing in our community as the Lord has allowed. And because of you, your patience, because of your faithfulness, your commitment, when the city church reconvenes, we're going to come back together better than we left. We're going to come back together stronger. And I'm believing God, this is our time. This is our time. This is our season. This is our moment. And God's going to get ready to come do something phenomenal.
Yeah, I'm excited. And I just pray that tonight has absolutely blessed you guys. And I pray for those that are in agreement, that we're all in agreement for what God is going to do. God is just doing so much during this time. And we're so excited that you guys are a part of what we're doing. I hope that honestly through these 12 weeks that you have felt our love.
Yes.
You have felt our prayers. You have felt connected. But I want to personally say that we have felt your prayers.
Yes.
We have felt your love.
For sure.
And we feel like we do have people that are still behind us, that are supporting us and supporting the ministry. And so we want to say thank you guys so much. We cannot do this without you. Look at my eyes. We cannot do this without you.
Yes.
Thank you for trusting us. Thank you for trusting the vision of this house. And I'm excited. I do believe now that you're stronger. Yeah. Now that you're wiser. I believe that you guys are going in your homes and you're learning and you're going deeper in your faith through this time of crisis. So I'm just excited, and I believe and declare Ephesians 3:20 over your life, exceedingly, abundantly, above you can even think or ask or even imagine, that God is doing that through you right now.
I had an opportunity to talk to one of the men of the city this morning, and in our discussion, he was saying, PT, I cannot wait to hear that word for tonight. And I said,
it's
thanks,
been fire
thanks
every
for
Sunday.
the pressure.
No pressure.
So every week, this has been
that's
pressure.
Your honest moment.
This has been pressure.
But PT has been putting it. I'm telling you, God is doing a new. Somebody say a new thing.
I am so thankful for you being patient and putting
and being
up
so
with
supportive.
Me, and I am excited about all that God is doing. I say that to say, more importantly for me and for both of us, is I am seeing, we are seeing, your growth is inevitable. As you can look at us and say, y'all aren't the same from when we left or last seen you guys, I can say the same about you. You are not the same. You have been taking this moment seriously, doing your absolute best, giving God what you have left, and He has indeed worked a miracle in our lives. With that being said, we want to take an opportunity to speak a blessing over your lives. Father, I pray now that you would keep my brothers and sisters in only the way that you can. That although we may be spread afar, I believe with all sincerity in heart and in mind, we are closer than we have ever been before. We are seeing the manifestation of what it means to not just be in attendance, but be in agreement. I want to thank you that through this time of separation and consecration, that we have been able to rid ourselves of immaturities, that the house has come together. We have grown numerically. We have grown in heart and mind. We have grown spiritually, and we give you all the glory, honor, and praise. I thank you that in this season, someone else, along with myself, has finally begun to see ourselves the way that you see us. And we invite you to do in us just as you did in Peter, just as you did in John, just as you did in Matthew. These were not amazing men, they were made men. And through the ministry of Jesus Christ, through discipleship, through their faith being expanded, men who once doubted you now have buildings named after them because their faith has been increased and or expanded. And I'm believing that just as you did in them, you will also do in us. Each and every viewer, bless them now.
Bless them, God.
From the crown of their heads to the sole of their feet.
Keep them in perfect peace.
each and everything that is connected to them. In Jesus' name, may it be blessed. And we give you all the glory, we give you all the honor, and we give you all the praise in Jesus' name. Ladies and gentlemen, until the time we meet again, we speak the blessings of God over you. You can join us this weekend online. I know this kind of felt like some grand finale, but we're not done right yet. So you're going to find us this weekend, Sunday, 8 a.m., 11 a.m., 5 p.m. and or 8 p.m. Find us on Facebook Live and or YouTube. We want you to come, but also share it with someone else. This weekend is going to be the finale to our series, Stuck in the Mud, Part 6. And you don't want to miss this. Before we go, man, you have been in our home now going on 6 weeks. We have been in this Cypress Sanctuary thing for going on now 12 weeks. You have seen some of our leaders. You have seen so many people who are instrumental to what we do. People that we saw as safe, who we can allow to be in our relational orbit, even through all this crisis without putting our home at risk. But there are 3 of those that you haven't seen much of. They are maybe even the most important cast members.
They kind of look like us.
To everything that they look like me.
They kind of like me.
Whatever. We're not going to fight in front of the people.
Okay, we're not.
They are maybe 3 of the most important cast members to everything that we are doing and everything that we have done. I want to invite you to kick it.
Get ready
with my boys.
Ooh, what they gonna
Let's
say?
go.
That's as far as. What's your name?
Will you fall? No, just lean back between these. No, scoot over and now lean. Alright, now scoot up with this. Like you're sitting there and you're eating at the table. Don't eat like that. Yeah, like that. You like. Okay, ready.
Hi guys, how you doing?
Yes.
Say that.
We're talking about 11 tweets.
The purpose.
I'm gonna let you get the name to it, right?
Go ahead, bud.
Most people have holes in their jeans. So
Those are jeans though.
they're Adidas, but
Just relax.
That's okay.
What have you guys been doing through all of this?
Just relaxing
just relaxing.
and hanging out with each other.
Doing your homework?
Yes, sir.
Devotion.
Devotion. What kind of devotion have you been doing?
It's called the Purpose Driven Life Devotional for Kids.
Good. When do y'all normally do your devotion?
Before we go to bed.
How's that been?
Amazing.
Good. So what is it like when you do your devotion? How does that look?
It's
How-
just
How do you normally do it?
we listen to it on an audio, and then we read it, and then we talk about it.
Who reads it?
Sometimes me or you,
Or who else?
Mason.
Or Mason. Good. So you get to do your reading too, in addition to getting your devotion in. And then you learn some things and we ask questions and we talk about it, right? Good. And then we pray. As a family. Good. Been pretty dope?
Yeah.
Show your book in case someone might be interested in it. Purpose Driven Life Devotional. Good. So what's this been like for you, Langston?
Good.
You been kind of kicking it? Good. You been doing your schoolwork?
Yes, sir.
You been learning and all that stuff?
Yes, sir.
Is there anything you might want to say to your friends?
Thank you.
Thank you. Good. You got a big birthday coming up too, right? How old are you turning?
5.
Big old 5. Anything you want for your birthday?
Yes, ma'am. Oh, yes, sir.
What you want?
Lion cupcake and I want a white squishy and I want a robot with a controller and I want a gun.
Whoa! You want a robot with a remote control, a Ryan squishy, and yeah, something else. Ryan cupcake.
Yes, sir.
Good. So what's been going on with you, Mason?
I have been working and missing my teacher because she's going to a new school next year.
Gotcha. So you just lost a tooth too, right?
Mhm.
Oh, which one was that?
Right here.
Whoa. It's gonna come back and grow back in. You see it, Langston? You see that tooth? Where did it?
It got a little bit on your tooth. Just a little bit on your tooth.
Good.
Oh, that's the one that was in the back.
So, you know, generally like on the weekends when mommy and daddy have to do their lives and stuff for church, what do y'all kind of do?
Play PlayStation, hang out.
You hang
Sit
out?
down sometimes.
So you're always here, but you're always quiet, right?
Upstairs, finishing work.
Good.
And playing PlayStation.
So when we got ready to do this video and we asked where did you guys want to do it, where did you say you wanted to do it at?
Right here.
Right there, in the chairs.
In the famous chairs.
In the famous chairs. Why are those chairs famous?
Because it's where you always see your videos.
Oh, you think I'm famous?
Yep.
Oh, snaps. I love it. All right, good. Anything else you guys want to say before we go?
We miss you.
You miss who?
All the people that used to go, well, that goes to our church.
Yes, sir. We definitely miss them. What about all your friends from Kid City?
We miss them too.
Good. Mason, you miss your teachers in Kid City? Good. What about you, Langston?
I miss my friends.
Good. So we're going to get ready and have a chance to see them before too long, right?
Mm-hmm.
Good. So somebody want to say a quick prayer over your friends before we go?
Yes, sir.
Go ahead.
Dear God, thank you for the last good day. You bless our people, you bless our kids, and you bless our friends and our cousins. Then we bless teachers, and we bless all of our teachers. And we bless Mom and Dad and Mason and Portia. And we love them, and we praise them, and we help them. In Jesus' name, amen. Amen.
Good. I love you, boys.
Like him.
Scam.
Wait.
All right, we ready, babe? I'm getting home.
Yeah, we ready. I got you.
We're going to get the boys in here this time, right?
Yeah, they're coming. I'll send them. Wait. You know they might be able to see your pants.
My pants?
Yeah.
I don't care.
Are you sure?
I'm sure most of them are doing much worse.
What about your shoes?
I don't care. I'm ready. When Jesus calls us back to reconvene.
Is this what you've been looking like every Tuesday?
Listen,
it's
time to
Sunday?
keep it 100. I know most of them out there got on much worse than I got on. Pajamas, head wraps, head scarves. Some of them naked in the bathroom watching their preaching.
Jesus.
It's time for us to get free.
Okay. Ooh, pastor in his PJs.
Whatever. Let's work.
All right, let's work.
Cyber sanctuary.